The emotion of the local derby in Sydney's West spilled over into an ugly melee in round 10. Marconi and Sydney United drew 1-1, but lost heavily when the tribunal imposed $11,000 in fines. On Saturday night, emotions were running high again. Good behaviour bond or not. Mike Cockrell is the commentator.
Holst climbing over the back of Sean Babic. Aaron Holst back in the side after a 3-month absence. Milicic now finding room here. Takes on Hristodoulou, beats Hristodoulou, gets to the ball and towards the near post, and the contact was made by Sean Babic. And the block from Marconi forcing a corner, so a good, quick free kick taken by Sydney United. And in the end, the ball into the side netting. Bilokapic and Babic in there for Sydney United, still not cleared by Marconi. The ball drops for Patikas, and in the end, there was a superb save by Bobby Catlin at close range. Marconi failing to clear the corner properly. Patikas trying the volley, and on the turn, acrobatics from Sean Babic, and a good save from Bob Catlin. Again, Genc with the corner for Sydney United. And still in there was Babic. This time the bounce favoured the Marconi goalkeeper. So Marconi weathered the storm. Harper breaking forward for the Marconi. Through the middle looking for Awaritefe, and it's Babic in there as well. And there's been a collision and a half between the keeper and Awaritefe. And Big Francis is tumbling. Sorry, sent tumbling to the ground. He's in some agony here, Francis Awaritefe. The ball chipped over the top by Harper. The keeper came and continued his run, and just flattened there by Francis Awaritefe. And he's not happy now for some reason. He has to go off and receive attention as he cools down, Francis Awaritefe. Kupresak releasing himself to lend a hand. He lines up the shot, Velimir. Kupresak, what a shot that was! And into the side netting from Kupresak. So a good, strong drive by Kupresak from all of 25 metres. The ball swerving in this wind into the side netting in the end. Kupresak lining up the shot, plenty of power, and a real concern for Catlin, not too far away. Nice knock on by Casserly. Harper now with space for the shot into the box. Andrew Harper, and a good save by Cruz. Still with Marconi. The cross from Smith away by Babic. So a let off for Sydney United. Good goalkeeping by the youngster Andrew Cruz. Zoric now. Good work here by Vlado Zoric. Lovely skills in bringing that ball down. Here he is again. Nice work by Harper. He's got away from Bilokapic. He has a player unmarked to his right in Casserly. He keeps going, Andrew Harper. There's the shot. The block from Cruz. Only though as far as Zoric. Marconi still laying siege to the goal. Here's Maloney. Will he score? Desperate defence from Sydney United. Well, Marconi once again goes ever so close. Again, lovely skills from Vlado Zoric. He really is starting to have an impact on this game. The Marconi playmaker finding Awaritefe, turning well, and yet another corner for Marconi. Francis Awaritefe is certainly a constant thorn in that Sydney United defence. Zoric with the corner. Towards the back post this time. Holst is in there for Marconi. Fisted away by Cruz. The header by Maloney. Was in fact Smith over the bar. So for perhaps the first time in the game, Andrew Cruz in that Sydney United goal, a little less than convincing with this fist out. Under pressure, it must be said, from Harper. Looking for Zdrilic. The idea was right. The execution, though, a little bit. Mike Smith there, a little bit wild there with that second bite at the cherry, if you like. He was penalised for high feet in the first instance and followed through a little bit recklessly. A quiet word from the referee. Free kick to Sydney United. Genc looking for players at the back post, one of whom is David Zdrilic. Good header, though, there by Luke Casserly. And now with Brad Maloney. Harper moves forward, takes on Plesa. Chipping it towards Maloney at the back post, and there it is. The first goal of the game goes the way of Brad Maloney. He started that move deep in his own half, and in the end he got on the end of that lovely counter-attack created by Andrew Harper. So after 37 minutes, it's Marconi leading Sydney United by 1-0. The scorer, Brad Maloney, and he deserved that goal because he continued his run, found by a good pass from Harper. The ball falling between the keeper and his defender. As we go into injury time at the end of this first half, and that's an acrobatic tumble there from Milicic. He's up and at him, though, as we see another foul, this time by Casserly on Bilokapic. So temper's starting to get a little bit frayed here, and the first caution of the game in the end goes to Luke Casserly. In fact, it goes to Bilokapic as well, so a caution each. Bilokapic for lashing out with his boots there after he was sent to the turf by Luke Casserly. Plesa. Good ball into the feet of Sean Babic. Nice layoff. Genc now evades Zoric. Thinks about the shot. Decides to go for the cross instead. There's Patikas jumping, and the knock-on finds David Zdrilic, and is that in? Yes, it is. Finally, at the back post, it's Sean Babic who helps the ball into the net. And right on the stroke of half-time, Sydney United get a goal back. Reward for their pressure and their character, certainly. Marconi will be very disappointed with conceding a goal so close to half-time. 47 minutes into the game. We look at the replay here. Genc with the cross, the flick on by Patikas. Found David Zdrilic. A good save in the first instance by Catlin. But in the end, it was a good finish by Sean Babic. The goal poacher that he is brings his team, Sydney United, back on level terms with a diving header into the net. Taken short by Marconi. Good work there by Souris. Cross finds Harper, and he whips the ball in again. That must be a goal. It is. Francis Awaritefe answers the critics and the supporters behind that goal with a unmarked header coming just 1 minute into the second half to put Marconi in front against Sydney United. And the perfect start for Marconi. As we saw, the cross swung over, finding Andrew Harper. And he's watched by Kupresak. A good turn, lovely ball by Harper. And a firm header by Awaritefe. So for the second time in the game, Marconi find themselves behind. And there's an incident now off the ball involving Genc and a Marconi player, Mike Smith. So temper's getting frayed once again, as was the case in the first half. We can see the run here by Rudan, and as you can see on the corner of the screen, there was a tussle between Genc and Mike Smith. So Genc and Smith getting a stern lecture from referee Simon Micallef. There's a card to each player. Smith now for Marconi, over the halfway line. Still Mike Smith. The ball through the middle, it's Casserly into the box. Unmarked was Awaritefe, and the touch came from Babic. Still with Mike Smith. And the ball ricocheting in that area. Is it in the goal? It's not off the line there by Paul Bilokapic, was it? Zdrilic, in fact. So amazing scenes here continue. Smith with that surging 70-metre run. The ball ricocheted past goalkeeper Andrew Cruz and cleared off the line by Zdrilic. Enes releases Lamond. The excitement machine, Menace Lamond. The cross is a good one, away by Casserly. Now with Zdrilic, a goal off the bar by David Zdrilic, and almost an own goal in the end. So Aaron Holst, was it, who nearly put the ball into his own net. I thought this was a goal for all money here from David Zdrilic. A rasping shot, crashing onto that crossbar there. The ball bouncing away, and the player on the left of your screen, or the right of your screen, it may have been Aaron Holst, slid across there and almost put the ball into his own net. Corner though to Sydney United, taken to the near post, away by Maloney, and still in there, and eventually claimed by Bob Catlin. Now with Plesa, gets the layoff from Lamond, still with Richard Plesa. Genc in space, Milicic, and straight at the goalkeeper, save from Catlin, and the rebound put wide by Ante Milicic. So Bobby Catlin is beginning to prove his worth for Marconi. Not for the first time in this match, he has saved the day. A good block there from Milicic at the first attempt, and the rebound sliced wide of the mark. Good work here by Harper. Still with Andrew Harper. He has Renaud to his left. Renaud into the box. And that's a goal from Brendan Renaud off the bench to put the issue beyond doubt for Marconi. The substitute has clinched the victory. And despair for Sydney United, delight for that section of the crowd behind the goals. The goal coming right on the stroke of 90 minutes from Brendan Renaud. And surely that is the ball game now as far as Marconi are concerned. And again, it was Harper the provider. Renaud did well to control the ball. He just stabbed at the shot really. And perhaps in taking the shot so early, he surprised the Sydney United goalkeeper, Andrew Cruz. No matter, it's in the back of the net, and that is all over Red Rover for Sydney United. Genc, the switch, finds Bilokapic, striding past Casserly, and that's a foul by Luke Casserly. And he could be in trouble here, Luke Casserly, because he was cautioned in the first half, and he's been sent off, Luke Casserly, for a second yellow card. He knows it. Luke Casserly, the Marconi defender, sent from the field for this challenge on Paul Bilokapic. Very, very late. He knows it straight away, and the referee left with no option but to send him from the field. So Marconi down to 10 men. Smith in there as well, Milicic. Zoric again with the ball. Handball, say the Sydney United players. Mike Smith just continues on his way. Well, Velimir Kupresak there is into the referee's book for a fairly aggressive challenge on Mike Smith. As we look at the replay, he showed a little bit of elbow there, Velimir Kupresak. Perhaps fortunate that he's not going to receive something worse. There is a card, in fact, and a red one. Or is it Andrew Harper who's been sent off? Genc, in fact, is the player off the pitch. So Aytec Genc did something behind play there. He's off the field, so the team's now down to 10 men apiece as the final whistle goes from referee Simon Micallef to end a typically tempestuous local derby, but in the end, a good guiding hand from referee Simon Micallef kept tempers in check for most of the game. 2 sendings off, though, at the end. A final score which reads Marconi-Fairfield 3, Sydney United 1.
Yes, indeed, tempestuous and a thriller in front of another big crowd at the Marconi Stadium. And the bottom line is that Marconi stay up there with the leaders, and Sydney United's scoring problems continue. And John, I think we should perhaps investigate why that is.
Les, it's interesting that Manfred Schaefer, coach of Marconi, and David Ratcliffe, coach of Olympic, the 2 top coaches, rate Sydney United as the biggest threat to their respective chances for the championship. But looking at Sydney United and having a look at that game the other night, they have a real problem up front. 26 goals in 21 games is just not the type of strike rate where you're going to threaten those big clubs. And I think one of the problems is the role that Patikas is playing. He's playing out-and-out striker, and it doesn't suit him. He's heavily marked. His confidence is shot a little bit. He's had 8 games and hasn't scored. And I feel his role's better coming from behind, running into spaces like here, and able to use his experience and that acceleration that he still has. Here's another example of it. Running from deep positions and setting up opportunities for his teammates. And I think the solution, and Sydney United know their own business best, but I would feel that Patikas playing from behind is better than as an out-and-out striker. Having said that, he did have an influence on the game with this beautiful touch. It's not just a headed goal, he just lays it on there to help set up the first goal. But their problem is up front, which combination is the best for them out of the 2 strikers and the player from behind. And I would think, say, Milicic, Babic in front, and Jimmy coming from behind. He's played out of the game by Robbie Stanton, didn't get a lot of good service, and was changed in the 52nd minute. But Sydney United's problems went a lot deeper than that. I felt they had a lot of the ball, particularly in the second half, and they continually tried to play through the middle. Look at the number of players there. I mean, Pelé can't play in that space, and I feel they were a little over-anxious and fell down. And perhaps the answer is to change that number 13 for Jimmy, to perhaps bring a change of fortunes, not only to him but to Sydney United.
On the other hand, good performance by Marconi, and particularly good night for Andy Harper.
Andy Harper was quite outstanding. He was involved in all the goals. He was involved in most of the attacking play. He was changed the week before. That's a real Manfred tactic of if they're not performing, bring them off, shake them up, and Harper was certainly shaken up and among one of the outstanding performances of the weekend. But Marconi without 4 of the regulars, particularly in defence where they were so bare, they reorganised and showed that they have the depth, and once again showed that quite clearly they are a definite championship threat.
On the other hand, Sydney United appear to have missed Tony Popovic, and indeed will probably sorely miss him if he does go for that Scotland game.
Yeah, injuries have played a part there. Zoric is still out, of course. We keep forgetting that Ante is out of, and that adds a lot, particularly in attacking from the back, particularly on the left-hand side of the field. Popovic is a real captain, a real inspiration. His absence with the Socceroos, they did miss him, and they are going to miss him with this joining the overseas-based players when Australia plays Scotland next month.
Just back to those 2 strikers that are playing now for Sydney United, Jimmy and Ante Milicic. It seems to me, John, that they are both providers more than actual finishers. You made the point about Jimmy Patikas, but Milicic too is a fabulous provider. But there's no Morey or a Awaritefe or a real, just a straight out striker.
Well, really, they have 5 who can play in that role, isn't there? Lamond coming off the bench, Babic, Milicic, Patikas. And they really just haven't found the right formula. And until they do, despite the high recommendation from opposing coaches, they really...